All right. Welcome back to Beyond Reps and Sets.
Yes, yes.
Today's going to be a little bit of a different episode.
Yeah.
We're just going to catch you guys up on what we've been up to.
You might even hear it in our voices a little bit
Yes.
today. We've had quite the holiday season, or holiday time where we're filming this after Christmas and Thanksgiving, which brought a lot of cheer and brought a lot of other
You
things.
said Thanksgiving,
Huh?
Christmas, and New Year.
Oh yeah, see, you can already see, you can already see that yeah, we had a time. We had a time.
It was a time.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell them first how yours was?
I think yours was much more. I think you got
Shitty.
yeah, to say the least, no pun intended.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I ate a bad chicken breast and it
The
was
most bro
Christmas.
thing ever.
Yeah, it was Christmas Day. It was a piece of chicken that was left out, put back in the fridge. And yeah, so diarrhea for 4 days.
Yeah.
It was not good. And then obviously I couldn't sleep, uh,
That was the
which,
worst part.
yeah, the lack
Worst
of
part.
sleep, it affects your ability to recover or fight off any other viruses that are floating around. And my kids have been sick about a week and a half prior to that. So I think I had some virus in my body already.
Brewing.
Yeah, I was brewing. And I'm usually good at avoiding these things.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never seen you be out like out of commission like that.
Yeah, so that was 4 days of that, and then I ended up catching a cold.
Yeah.
So
Back to back.
back to back.
I was gonna ask you, I didn't get to ask you about how your kids were during that time. Was it like everybody? Or like was
No,
it
it's
just
just me.
you?
Just
Just
me.
you.
Yeah,
So everybody so that your kids were better and then damn, so they really passed it on.
yeah. And my poor wife, she had to like, you know, pick up the slack and do
Yeah.
everything. Talk about like cleaning up all the, what was left over from opening all the gifts, cleaning up after the kids, like playing
Yeah.
with all their new toys.
Yeah.
And then our house was just a mess.
Yeah.
So she spent one evening just cleaning the whole house.
Yeah.
So I
You guys
really,
usually delegate that to
yeah,
amongst
we're
each
the
other's,
type of
right?
family that we share the
Yeah.
load,
Yeah.
right?
As it should be, I think, that's the
Well, every
best way.
family has their own agreement,
Yeah.
right? So
Like maybe I'll do the dishes and then I'll take out the trash or whatever.
exactly,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to see you. This is
yeah,
also our first time actually just seeing each other
for a while,
in that while.
yeah,
We went from like seeing each other like damn near every day or every no, not every day, but like every other day, you know, leading into this, getting ready for the launch and the holidays. But
yeah. We had our challenge
yeah,
in
we
December.
which is, we really put a stamp on that at the near the end. Um, so we still have to figure out what we're gonna do with that. But I think maybe maybe we'll conclude with what we have because we have some footage from that. So maybe you guys will see like the first couple weeks of that. We haven't really discussed it, so
Hmm.
we gotta see where we're gonna do with the challenge because this last week kind of spun us.
For
Um,
a loop.
yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, it was good. The actual spending of time with family and we had my girl's family over from Christmas Eve, which is like super nice. It was the first time like a family meeting. My dad wasn't there, um, which was like the only thing. So like of the intermediate family that wasn't there. He's in Jamaica right now, but it went really well. You know what I mean? And like everybody got acquainted, and we played games. We were playing like headbands.
Yeah, I
We
saw
had
that.
dinner. Yeah, we had like so that was like fantastic. And then the week leading into that meeting, leading into New Year's, um, usually for me in the past, it'd be like, all right, yo, what's the move? Like I remember Mandem were texting me, be like, oh, so are we doing dinner? Like, what's the flex? And then like around that time is where it was like energy was at an all time low, and um, I think one of my one of my clients before I took a break from training during that week after Boxing Day, um, they had said they'd come down with something, and I was like, nah, I still want to make sure we keep a momentum. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't take a lot for clients to get out of the
Hmm.
flow of things. You know what I mean? It's like you kind of as a training, you're setting the tempo for these guys as well. So um, I was like, yeah, well, don't worry, like we'll make it happen. But I think that led into like energy being super low. There wasn't any sort of like cough or anything like that at that point, but like my appetite was at an all time low, feeling super weak, energy super low. Um, so going into New Year's, it was just like watching movies with my mom. Which, if you had told me at the beginning of 2023, that's how I would be ringing in the new year, I would have laughed, you know. But it was actually very enjoyable, and it was like really change a really nice change of pace, you know, just
Hmm.
to be able to like sit down and have a conversation, no when um no distractions or anything, you know, just watching movies
Sure.
and talking, you know.
Sometimes it's good to do that, you know?
Yeah.
I think getting my head around getting back into the routine
Mhm.
of getting up at 4:30, going to the gym at 5,
Yeah.
5 days a week.
Yeah.
I'm trying to wrap my head around that again because I need to get back into that mode,
Yeah.
right? And when you're sick, you have to expect that you have to rest,
Yeah.
right?
To fight off
Yeah,
whatever viral you're being attacked basically. Yeah.
exactly. And you're not going to make gains trying to force yourself to the gym. Yesterday I was like, maybe tomorrow morning I'll start.
Mm.
And I thought about it, and I wanted to be in here with you and Andre and doing this episode. So I thought, let me sleep,
Yeah.
right?
Get the extra rest so we can actually show up. So yeah, if the energy isn't its usual, you know, um rambunctious nature that we have, we apologize in advance. We are doing our best. We wanted to make sure that we show up and not just talk about it, but be about it, and giving you guys something for today. So um today we got cooked up some client questions, some questions that we got recently from
Mhm.
clients, and some interesting sort of topics that I think you guys will be able to benefit from. Uh
Before that,
yeah.
what movies did you watch?
Movies?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Was there any
Well,
was there anything interesting?
so we watched Home Alone with like both families. So my girl's
Okay,
family
nice, nice.
and us.
Classic.
Classic, you know. And I think it was like the only thing that we could put up on Prime because we got, yeah, the one with Donald Trump.
For sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
So, but it was so we saw that, and we went like pretty late too, you know, because we started dinner at like 7. It was like 7, right? Yeah, 7 something. Yeah.
Wow, yeah,
So we
that's late.
7. Yeah, 7:30. Yeah, it was late. It was late dinner, but 7:30, and then like even like the prep time, my mom was like rushing around. Like he was always like the cleaning before people are coming over, and like I was on the road, make sure that I got everything that she like last minute. Yeah, there was no space. But you know what it is? It's be-
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Andre's dinner time would be
I know what you're
like
saying though.
yeah,
So Andre is saying that, and I saw the table.
Yeah.
So the table that your mom set up was like beautiful. You know, it had, three different plates. It
Yeah.
had the
We had a dinner dessert plate, dessert spoon, knife, a fork, then butter knife.
and what's that other plate that yeah.
Well, you can set it up that way if you have a dining table. We yeah, we were definitely it was my mom has like I think a lot of immigrant parents is like you have this set plates that you only use when company is around, and that is a lot,
You're gonna get some use out of those plates because they're
yeah,
expensive.
yeah. So it's like we're gonna use all of the nice stuff. So that means the soup bowl, that means the special knives and the special forks, and I remember Andre looking at the forks and he's like, "We don't got no better forks than this. Like this is the good stuff we're bringing out right now." But I was like, we don't use these. We never use these ones. And but yeah, overall, it was the dinner and stuff. Conversation flowed really nice. I thought like everybody was getting along, which is all you can ask for like a first um meet up. And then we played games, and the games went really well. Obviously, I was dominating. You know what I mean,
Mhm.
as I do. It's just it's just how it goes. If Andre played Ludi, it might have been a little bit different. But yeah.
So what was on the menu?
Oh, we had curry goat, rice and peas.
Mm.
My girl brought in a cake, a cheesecake. My mom had her own cheesecake. We had what else did we have? My mom had like this salad, this quinoa, no kale salad, like raisins in it. Then we had chicken. The chicken was fired. Baked chicken, chicken breast, drumsticks. Uh, what else was there? We had cookies. We didn't even touch like this is the thing about us is that we brought the sweets out, and then apart from the cake, we did love the cake. The cake was good too. We had a lot of cakes. We had a lot like we had a cheesecake. We had a mini cheesecake. Then we had a chocolate cake. Then my girl brought a cheesecake. So
So if you could count the calories of the plate that you had,
if I could count the calories easily, we're looking at like 1,800 to 2,100.
just for your one meal.
I think in total, excluding desserts.
Okay.
Yeah, in total, yeah,
Wow.
yeah. I went ham. Yeah. But then again, I literally didn't even eat that day. Like
Yeah, see? You took one of the tips.
one of the tips. So I didn't eat anything when I left because I knew I would be absolutely because I knew we had the sweets. The sweets is where because I have a sweet tooth, so I was giving myself that allowance on that day, knowing that I wasn't gonna eat anything the going into the night before, and then that going into that morning, I was just like fasted. So then by the time I was yamming,
Mhm,
everything in sight. My mom made sorrel. Sorrel was
mhm.
really good. Um, my girl was drinking a lot of the sorrel. It was her first time having
Did
sorrel
she realize there was rum in it
after.
after?
Yeah, that's not true. I told her. I told her. I literally told her. I literally told her. I literally told her, I was like, there's rum in this. She's like, that's fine. And then Andre's like, no, 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 no. There's a lot of rum. Yeah, she was, and then she was feeling it. But I think it was a mixture of like eating a lot, and then she doesn't drink at all. Like she doesn't drink. Like it's usually just like family outings, and even then, I think she's always excited to try new things. So the fact that there was a new thing to try
Mhm. Oh, that's
was
good.
really nice. And then
Mhm.
my mom also made like a bunch of like freshly squeezed juice and something. So yeah, the food is never in doubt when my mom's in the kitchen. Uh
Yeah. So
But
for
yeah,
us on Christmas Eve,
yeah,
we had a very, very Jamaican meal.
yeah. Did you
Conch.
guys do movies and stuff afterwards too?
No, no, you know
Just a
what? There's
dinner?
too many people.
Too many.
Like there were
Yeah.
40 people.
Oh shoot.
Yeah, 40 something, I guess.
Including both sides?
No, no, that's just my side. Like
Oh
my
wow.
yeah.
Damn. So in-laws and then
So I was at my parents' house for Christmas Eve,
mm,
and then went to my in-laws for Christmas Day.
okay.
Yeah, so Christmas Eve, my mom made conch soup with ackee and saltfish,
Mm.
oxtail. Um, then she made some other stuff. She made
Wild
fried
dumpling or
chicken wings.
wild dumpling
No,
or fried?
fried dumpling.
Fried. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, extra.
So
So what
I
was your calories on
I
your
don't even want to know.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what?
If you had to
To be
guess,
fair, I
if you
did
had to
not eat the oxtail because I made oxtail for my in-laws on the next
I was
day,
about
right?
to say you were loving the because I saw you prepping. This guy in the WhatsApp chat was booming. This guy was sending the
Yeah, yeah.
oxtail prep from like a week before the season.
So it was so I did this pretty much the same thing. Like I made sure I had some protein for breakfast and I didn't eat that much for lunch. I had a salad, got some fiber, and
Smart.
then I made sure I prepped a protein shake on the way to dinner.
Oh, so
And when
you're
I
ready to
got
eat.
there,
Yeah.
I hadn't had ackee for like months. So I had like 4 plates of ackee and saltfish,
Oh yeah.
which I actually thought when I started to get the runs, I thought it was probably from eating too much ackee. Right? But
Oh
you know
man,
what I realized, right?
there's a lot of calories in
You know
ackee.
what actually? When I looked up ackee, right?
Mm.
It's pretty good protein and there's like very low carb, very very low, like almost no carb
But
actually.
it's the fat.
There's fat,
It's the fat.
but it's good fat.
Yeah.
It's like avocados,
Yes.
right?
But that's why I think it's like slippery slope because it's usually paired with fried dumpling, and
Yes.
then if you're having so like most people aren't just having ackee and saltfish. That's why for me I love ackee and saltfish, but I'll do it like on a
Hmm.
Sunday breakfast usually.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what we had. And Christmas Day,
So that's now you're with the in-laws, right?
yeah, with the in-laws. So I
Okay.
made the oxtail for that. And
So how was it with the kids open? Were they excited for their gifts and stuff?
bro, there's way too many gifts. Okay. So coming
You
home from
spoiled
my
them, spoiled them.
there's too much. Coming home from my parents' house,
Oh, because they got.
yeah, the SUV,
Oh my
the
god.
SUV was full to the brim of gifts at the
Oh my
back.
god.
And I have an Atlas.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, you know that trunk is
It's you. Yeah.
huge.
So oh my god, I'm just realizing because you had your family
And then her family, yeah.
and then
And then
in
our gifts that we yeah, it's stupid. It's
yeah.
ridiculous.
So that so like when you're saying that um your wife was really having to do the
It was a
cleanup and
lot. It was
that's a lot of what would you
when I
say?
what?
No, go ahead, go ahead.
When I counted the amount of gifts, um, in total, there was like over 35 gifts.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, over 35.
Between the two of them.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay. 35 per would have been absolutely bonkers. 35 between the two of them. That's still a lot, but it's like
And that might even be off. Like
he lost count.
yeah, because some gifts had like multiple gifts,
Oh my
right?
gosh.
So I'm counting like if one person gave them each like 4 things, I'm
Yeah.
counting that as one.
Do you think you're gonna eventually like are you gonna keep that clip up or what age do you think it's like
No, I told them actually for next year, I
Mhm.
don't want anybody buying them gifts.
What about how do you feel about them getting money from like relatives and stuff?
Like, hey, money's good.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah, yeah.
When anytime I would get money from like distant relatives, I was like, yeah, thanks, auntie. You know what I mean? Like,
But that money goes into like they have an account. They have an account
oh,
for like
smart, smart.
for school, for other things. Like they have an account that we were not gonna touch. Like
Smart.
they have an account that um actually they have our RESPs already
Nice.
for school in case they
Nice.
go to school.
Welcome to the finance quarter
Yeah,
with
yeah.
Adam and we took a slight detour.
But
So
anyways, games. We're talking about
yes,
games, right?
yes, 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 yes.
So Christmas
And at
Day,
this point, are you starting to feel a little bit under the weather?
on
Christmas
Christmas Day, yes.
Damn, on Christmas.
Okay,
So
so
like
Chris,
break that down to me. Like you're driving home and you're like, ooh,
no,
or is
so this
it
is what happened. So Christmas Day, we decided that we're gonna sleep at my in-laws just so that because my kids have an early bedtime,
right,
so we didn't want to leave the festivities too early,
right.
right? So they go to bed at around 8 p.m. Okay, so we get to my in-laws early prior to their nap time, my daughter's nap time,
Mhm.
so that we could nap them there and we can help out get things ready. So I get there and I'm like, I'm feeling sore. Like my neck, my back, my shoulders, everything's feeling sore right now. And so my wife's like, "What did you do at the gym the day before?" So I'm
Mhm.
like, "Yeah, I did squats, I did overhead presses, then I did
Oh,
rows,
okay.
and I
So those
counted
are
the number of exercises I did, and it was actually a lot
yeah, yeah,
within a
yeah.
matter of like an hour and 20
So
minutes.
it's kind of adding up right now.
So I'm thinking, okay, this is probably just so,
Residual.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
right.
fair enough.
So then I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna just slip upstairs, take a nice bath, like a hot bath.
Ooh, a little bath bomb
Yeah,
situation.
so I did that, and I felt much better,
Okay.
right?
Epsom salt.
Epsom salts, yeah.
Okay.
But it
If
wasn't
you know, you
until
know.
yeah, it wasn't until the evening time when um I'm ready to go to bed now,
Mhm.
and I'm starting to feel a little like some chills. Like my body's starting to feel
Oh,
off. And then that's when I started to get that. But let's rewind to games because my in-laws like to play games.
yeah,
Okay.
same.
Versus my family, they're not really into games, right? So
Mhm.
my my wife's cousin, he's usually in charge of organizing the games. So he brought over what his half brother made. It's like
Made? He
yeah,
made
so he
one?
made this what
Booty
TV
board?
show is it? No, it's okay, it's basically a pegboard and you drop the ping pong ball and then it's gonna go. What's it from? The
Oh,
Price is Right?
Plinko.
Plinko,
Yes.
Plinko.
Plinko.
Yeah, so it's a
Yes.
Plinko board, right?
Yes.
And what he did was he put like money in the grand prize in the bottom.
Mhm.
So there's an elastic over three of the pegs to make like a triangle, so it's not doesn't easily go right down into the grand prize.
Yeah, yeah.
So the grand prize was 40 American bucks, right?
Okay.
I drew number one, so I went up first. Why did I get
The grand
the
prize.
grand prize first time? Okay, and then just
Meanwhile,
by
your insides are bubbling at this point.
yes, so
It's the Lord works in
yeah,
mysterious ways, doesn't
I'm telling you.
he?
Okay, yeah, so that was that was fun, and actually four of us hit the grand prize in that, and it was my daughter and my son actually also won.
Hmm. The grand
So
prize as well?
no, not grand prize,
Oh,
but
okay.
we took home like $70, something like that.
Was there punishment ones? Like drink a glass of mayo or something?
No, 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 no.
Okay,
But
okay.
you could do that, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
would definitely do that.
yeah,
That's what makes it fun. It's like someone's gotta feel some sort of pain here.
exactly.
Yeah, there's gotta be a repercussion. Um, but damn, that's it's a tough ride. But it sounded like the games at least might have distracted you from the
A little bit. It was a mild distraction.
yeah, then right back to the toilet after.
We had we had some client experiences we wanted to talk about.
Yes,
Some client
yes,
questions.
yes. So do you wanna dive into yours first, or do you want
I had an interesting one a couple nights ago. I got a message from one of my clients that was basically wrapping up with me. she had come to me previously for physio, for a lot of constant pain in her neck, shoulders, and after doing some digging, we realized that it was stress was the trigger. And also, when I dug a little deeper in terms of her lifestyle, there were some things that could have changed uh, to help her out. So I offered her a more holistic approach versus just the manual therapy and exercises. And what that meant was it would have been, well, it was fitness programming. So I would program her workouts properly. I had to educate her on alcohol and how that's not a good thing for in terms of self-medication. Um, and also I helped her with her macros in terms of her nutrition, so a little bit of coaching there.
Was she trained? Like, what was she doing for her training before?
So before she was doing a lot of I think she was doing like aquafit, and then classes. Like,
High intensity.
yeah, kind of like the typical
Yeah,
cardio with weights workouts.
Zumba
And
style.
yeah, so she wasn't eating for like the whole day so that she can eat and drink in the evening.
Yeah, she was trying to outwork. She was trying to outwork a bad diet, which is
Yes.
literally. I didn't have him. Have such a vivid image of this Italian guy. Um, not gonna say his name, but he probably knows who I'm talking about if he hears this. And he would always work just enough. He was like, I call him like maintenance. You know what I mean? Just because he was such a he was a great guy, but it was so challenging to work because he would always just work enough to stay in whatever position he was because he couldn't give up pasta, burgers,
Wine.
maybe a little bit of wine on the weekends. So he wasn't too bad with the
Okay.
alcohol. Um,
Yeah, he'd work out to eat.
yes, he would
Yeah,
just
yeah.
work out to. He's like, Cliff, I can't give up the pasta, man. Like, you know what I mean? Because he ran his own business and he was making a decent amount. So I feel like and when he would have his son every other day, so like he would want to do stuff with him and want to go out. And this was during the summer as well, or like earlier in the year, spring, summer. So like that was my first. So I'm like, damn, there are really people out here that are trying to like he would have 2,000 calories and then spend the next 2 days trying to burn an extra 2,000 calories by yeah, he would work out with me and then he'd stay for another 2 hours trying to like do it on treadmill. And he would do it, but it's like now your mood is gonna be affected the next day, your sleep probably isn't gonna be as good. You're still waking up at like 4 or 6 a.m. to get your day started.
Yeah, it's backwards.
Yeah, it just
So that's a backstory of her, right? And she's gotten to the point where it was constant. Now it only happens when she has stress triggers. And actually, some of the stressful times that she's been experiencing, she hasn't had a trigger. So things have really improved. And I noticed assessing her body that she was really lacking in musculature in her back, right? So the goal was build up muscle, um, have a good understanding of how the stress impacts you, and utilize tools that you've learned from previous professionals on how to manage stress, breathing practices, etc. And then just improve your nutrition so that you're feeding your body properly. So she sends me a message, she's like, Adam, I really like how things are changing, but I'm noticing, my dresses aren't fitting as nicely. They're a little bit tight now in the back and the shoulders. My butt has gotten a bit bigger, and my thighs. I actually really like these changes, but am I gonna continue to get bigger? I don't want this to happen, right?
Mm.
So her question is, what can I do to prevent myself from continuing to get bigger? Because I don't want this to happen. That was her question.
How what was the time frame that she experienced this growth in? Like
Uh,
over how long you'd say roughly?
this was 4 months.
4 months.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
That's she's so that's a very natural progression as well. You know what I mean? So um
Yeah, it was actually um she did exactly what I asked of her.
yeah.
She noticed the improvements, so she continued to work at it. So what my answer was, okay, you don't want your certain areas to get any bigger.
Stick up in when you when she moved from the group classes, what did you have her like what split did you put her on? Did you put her
So she's working out 4 days a week. One of the days was more of like a therapeutic um, workout program where,
mm,
oh,
for her
so
stress
more of a
management?
therapeutic workout, right? Where working on a lot of like the scapular stabilizers, um, hip, spinal mobility, um, that combined with breathing. That was kind of like a decompression workout, right? And then the other 3 days, um, I paired different movements. So squats, just all the compound movements, basically rows, presses. Um, it's just laid out in a nice way. And I had to teach her how to go to fatigue, but I had to bring her into
Mm,
the studio and actually say no, two more, no, two more,
mhm.
two more, because she didn't understand
Yeah,
when to stop,
yeah.
right?
It's a common thing as well because a lot of beginners, or well, even if you're not a beginner, and we talked about this with like training age, it's like if you've been doing the wrong thing for a long time, or just something that hasn't forced any sort of adaptation or change, means that maybe you're having an issue with your technique, which is not going to allow you to target the area that you want.
Exactly.
So it would suffice to say that maybe you're not even reaching failure,
Exactly.
because you're in these arbitrary reps, not understanding why those numbers exist
Mhm.
and getting yourself to the accurate weight to get you through full range to actually
Exactly.
experience that failure.
So my answer to her was, for one, you're probably hitting a plateau now.
Mm,
So even if you keep doing what you're doing, same reps and same sets, same resistance, you probably won't grow anymore.
mm,
But you're going to need to do that to maintain it. Secondly, I said, well, we could decrease the volume of sets for those particular areas. So whether it be a squat because her thighs and her buttocks, she doesn't
mm,
want that to grow anymore.
mm.
Um, but more likely, she's probably just going to plateau
Yeah,
at this point.
yeah,
But I also mentioned to her, like, you are in your mid 40s. In about 5 years, you're going to have to do more to maintain what you have,
yeah. Gets more
right?
challenging as you
It
get as
does.
you age
Yeah.
to get those new gains and see
Right.
those new adaptations. So I would even say to her like um it's the fact that we are experiencing reduced stress, and you're not like the main thing was that she was experiencing these sort of um like the hot zone area that a lot of people have with their like neck, upper shoulders area being more tense. If you're experiencing that, there's a significant drop off in tension there along with these new adaptations. Let's look at the positive, and then we talk about body positivity. It's like these are natural things that you probably were under servicing
Hmm.
that you're now servicing at a much better rate, at a healthier rate probably as well.
Exactly.
Not so much centered in on the aesthetic, but more so the feeling, and then the aesthetic follows, which we talked about before. So even just that psychological aspect
Hmm.
of like, hey, we're gonna continue this, adjust them in those ways that I think are great, to make her feel more comfortable, but also realizing, like, I'll send this message out. It's really hard to gain a significant amount of muscle. You know what I mean? And it's a long, arduous journey. So if you're doing something that's giving you an adaptation that you are enjoying and you want to taper it off, then adjust your volume and just but keep all the same food. The meditate. It sounds like it sounds almost meditative, but it's like corrective exercise. Is
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
accurate?
Corrective. Yeah.
Corrective, but the breathing, you know what I mean? Like those habits are gonna be so much more beneficial than um because the program can always change and adapt as you get older.
And she's a very successful woman, no kids. Um, so I know she has the income. So I'm like, hey, best case scenario, right? You get to go shopping.
Yeah. Get new wardrobe.
Yeah.
I will say that the jeans, like these are the new, like I never used to really like these jeans because they're really baggy on me. But with those tips that we made, because we touched on the challenge earlier, in that month was probably some of the more significant. That's why I'm kind of cheesed that we kind of like the
I mean,
sickness kind of
you
came.
got some thigh gains.
Thigh gains, the
Yeah.
quad. And remember, my thing was the quads,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it was one shift that Adam saw when I was squatting, and it was sometimes you just need that reassurance, and that's why I think it's so important to train with different people because you aren't seeing yourself, and even when you're videoing yourself, you're maybe choosing different angles. So one foot position change, and then a couple different tweaks to technique, and I was like, oh, I'm connecting so much better with my quad.
Mhm.
You um, but yeah, look, what are we doing on time? Okay, we'll get into um the client question that I got. Is there anything else you wanted?
No, no, that's it.
Okay. Um, so a lot of guys that come into the to train with me, the thing they want to build up the most is like chest and arms. You know what I mean? So sometimes like there's a guy I worked with this year, and one of the things that he had issues with was when he was doing any sort of pressing motion, which is very common. I've experienced it. I don't know if you've probably had numerous patients that have experienced this, but having shoulder pain when pressing, thinking about
Mhm.
bench, either with a dumbbell or any sort of pressing motion. And a lot of it was just going through general shoulder mobility and just seeing how he moves in different planes, so laterally through the front, and then seeing at what point just watching his press to see how he looks when he's pressing. And everybody is a little bit different, but more times we can get away with more back work um, than front work just because when I say front point, just anything that you're doing in front of your body. And you see a lot more underdeveloped backs because as a result of that. So it's very easy for our shoulder to get into some pretty gnarly positions, especially when we introduce load without an emphasis on technique. So a lot of times, especially with this particular guy, he's in and around my age. We went to high school together. Um, we just started back moving away from the bar first because it's way easier to feel connected. I found in my experience with dumbbells. I'm curious to hear what you got to say
Mhm.
about that. And learning how to get better scapular retraction, so actually feeling his shoulder blades pinching in towards the bench, um, to and then getting a better connection to actually press through that same range of motion. So his main thing was just, and I think it's something a lot of people or are curious about is like, um, what why is it that when I'm pressing, I'm experiencing this tension in and around my shoulder, and then we can go through a couple different back and forth. But for him, it was lack of ability to retract his shoulder blades back or his scap. So we did a lot of seated rows, single sided as well, so you can connect to both sides equally, and address some imbalances that he had there. His right side was a little bit stronger, so focusing in on each side individually, um, and then not doing it for arch's sake. I think a lot of people when they're looking at bench, they're looking at the best of the best, and they're looking at power lifters, and they're like, "Oh, I need to arch my back in this position." So they're just trying to emulate that, not understanding the reasons and why that might work for that person's physique, given their height, their length of their arms, the bar path that they have, difference relative to their whole size. Um, so get him not just to arch his back because he thinks that's what he's supposed to do, but grounding his feet in towards the ground, his bum in towards the bench, and then his shoulder blades to raise his chest up, so that he can actually feel his chest when he was pressing.
Mm.
So regressing the exercise down to its lowest. He was pressing like 50s when we came in. I regressed him in our first month of training, down to 20s. And his goal was to be able to do 135 on the bar.
Mhm.
And through the dumbbells, getting back up to 50s through 8 to 12 repetitions, we were able to work him back up to the bar with no pain on his shoulder.
Nice. That's a common thing.
Very.
People don't know how to retract and squeeze their shoulder blades together.
Mhm.
Um, I think when you look at most young men's workout programs or just what they do more frequently, they'll do a lot more chest work and bicep, right?
Mhm.
It's just the two areas that they see in front of them or they see in the mirror,
Mhm.
right? Um, and that definitely leads to two things. For one, it will start to roll your shoulders in and your shoulder blades end up tipping forward and turning in, right? So you have a lot of tension at the front of the body that ends up lengthening the muscles at the upper back. So pulls you into that forward posture. So I think any of the young men that come to me with this problem, I often tell them to stop working their chest out
Mhm.
and work out their back. And I give them a lot of corrective exercises. And I say, do this for about 6 months and then slowly incorporate your chest right back into it.
What would you say? I have like two go tos that I'll teach. One is with a band. Um, so just your basic, because I think a lot of people see that, but then they're just doing it aimlessly because they're like, it's kind of
So
like
you're
monkey
talking,
see, monkey
yeah,
do, like
talking,
band pull aparts.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, yeah. So, um, with that, so band pull parts. I'm basically just thinking,
I like those, but I like it underhand. So you're actually externally rotating your shoulders,
yeah,
right? That's to me a better setup for that.
mhm,
But I like giving I like it. I call it the reverse plank. So you're on your stomach, your thumbs pointing up. So you externally rotate, squeeze your shoulder blades, and then you go into like a Superman.
right.
I like that. You can do that with actually a dowel. So you bring it, you hold it behind your back, and you're in that position as well.
I'll use the foam roller for something similar,
Yeah.
where you're just using it because it's not. I think a lot of people associate it with lower lumbar mobility when it's thoracic. So you're thinking of like the upper torso. So increasing mobility through there
Yeah.
as a as opposed to
That's also a big issue is not enough thoracic extension
yes,
to even do, even if we're talking overhead pressing,
a hundred
right?
percent. And so I see that a lot. So there's internal rotation of the shoulders, and then there's a lack of thoracic mobility. So those
Mhm.
two things compiled with weak back or what we call like the rotator cuff muscles.
We should set
Usually,
up a video for on YouTube for this.
yeah,
I think
uh,
that's a good idea, just
yeah.
going over these corrective exercises.
But I will say the two that I go through is some sort of external rotation to get them used to actually opening their chest. Um, so that could be with the band, that could be with a cable machine, not with a dumbbell, because
Yeah.
gravity is going to be working against you. And then actually going into a rowing motion before we press. So I like to get guys to still press through that, just significantly lighter.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Depending how severe the rotation is, or how severe the pain is. Um, it would take a lot for me to say I'm gonna not have it at all. But if the pain is severe enough, then we will maybe just throw in another back day for those. But you have like your go to. You said the dowel exercise. Is there like another go to?
Um, well, like I said, that the Superman or arms down Superman, externally rotated, hold for 2 minutes.
Mm.
Yeah, that really corrects the length tension issue from front to back. W's,
Yes. Oh,
um,
Y raises W. Yes. Yeah.
wide face pulls like this, coming back like that. Those will really activate the back muscles and relax the chest.
For the guys listening on audio, this is why you need to check out the YouTube page Beyond
Mhm.
Reps and Sets so you can see what Adam is doing.
Yeah, man. Thanks for this episode. I think
We're gonna have to wrap it up here.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I feel like sometimes we're gonna have these episodes where we just catch you guys up and we just kind of discuss, what's been going on in our lives. Um, but yeah, is there anything else you want to say?
No, I think we close it out.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you for traveling beyond reps and sets with us.
Peace out.